Okay, we should be getting live there shortly, I would think. So, all right, yep, now we should be. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to save our pennies. Maybe we'll have to find another one. Maybe if there's one in a hollowed out volcano. But in doing show prep, I also found out, Mike and I found, I found an article, and Mike and I have a question. Why is Stanley Tucci the poster boy for middle-aged men for Yahoo?
He is?
That's a fair question.
Yeah, because
every list for the last 3 or 4 shows about middle age or whatever that Shaggy has shared, Stanley Tucci is the thumbnail.
Yeah, and these aren't like Stanley Tucci says his favorite, desserts. No. It's like this one. Older adults are sharing their outdated skills, and as a millennial, I had to Google half of these with the picture of Stanley Tucci for the thumbnail. It's like, why? What does Yahoo have against Stanley Tucci?
He's 63.
What do they have against him? I mean, he was good in The Devil Wears Prada. He's evidently a really good chef. He's fun to be around. I don't know. I don't know why Yahoo doesn't like him.
Well, obviously, Yahoo, whatever AI Yahoo is using, if you go to it and say, give me a picture of a middle-aged man, it gives you Stanley Tucci every time.
Is it Tucci Bot? I don't know. But
someone asked for it, and it came back with a picture of him, and someone said clicked a little thumbs up to say, yep, that's what I asked for. And now that's what it does. Because, it is Yahoo. That's all that they can afford in AI. But a Tucci Bot.
So let's go through these real quick, because some of these So older adults are sharing their outdated skills. Okay, now let's see how many we agree are outdated skills and which ones we think, have value.
And which ones we have.
All right. I know how to shear, wash, card, and spin wool. I also know how to dye fiber using plant dyes. Is number one.
If you're a farmer, then that is not outdated information.
Older adult? Wait, what?
It's from.
If we're saying older adults, did they know Abraham Lincoln?
This came from the Reddit / Ask Old People.
Literally, either they knew Abraham Lincoln or they actually are sheep farmers. Those are the two people who would know that.
Unless you are a reenactor, there is no reason to have those skills today.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Number 2, fast forwarding or rewinding a cassette tape to the exact start of a song I want.
It's funny that the tape that they show is a cassette single.
Yeah.
So there is literally only one song. I could do that as well.
They didn't mention whether they used a cassette player or a pencil. So, incomplete.
Yeah. So I would say that since young people are still enjoying finding tapes, it's more of a hipster thing of whatever the modern hipster is.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely outdated. But also throw out that it's not actually a thing that I know how to do. Because I listen to entire albums. I don't like skipping anything.
Number 3.
I'm weird like that.
Film developing and printmaking. There's not that many people that use film anymore.
No.
Number 4.
It's fun to watch.
Number 4. This one will be helpful once the apocalypse hits. Map reading and being able to use a paper map to get where I'm going without turn-based directions.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah. In case of apocalypse, could be useful.
Being able to drive a manual car. I think it's useful. You know.
No, that's called no. The type of person who doesn't know how to drive a manual car is called an American.
Now,
because if you're European, they all know how to drive manual because that's all they have.
see, I was upset I didn't know how to drive a manual car when in high school we got paid to move cars from several different car lots for car salesmen to a big event that they were doing in a field where they were doing like car days or something, and it was like a multi-vendor thing. Well, the people who knew how to drive manuals got to drive the really fun cars. Meanwhile, the people like me who only knew at that time how to drive an automatic, I was driving a piece of crap huge Plymouth that the radio didn't even work in it. You know, used car to this lot. And I was surprised I even made it there for their sale in that thing. So, you know, yeah, I wish I'd have known how to do it earlier. But I learned how to drive.
I've never had any opportunity.
Yeah.
Getting a job as a valet at a restaurant. Now the restaurants just put up signs. No manual cars will be valeted.
Yeah.
So no, I've never had any opportunity to learn how to drive a manual, and now I have a car that has no transmission. So,
here's one. I used to remember at least 50 phone numbers, friends, family, and work. Ironically, I used to work for the phone company. No. Well, I mean, it would be great. The problem is I still remember those phone numbers that I used to remember, and they don't belong to those people anymore. You know, I still remember my parents' home number, and who knows who has that anymore because they got rid of it.
yeah.
Number
My
six.
parents still have the number that I grew up with, and when they decide that they no longer want that number or they're going to disconnect their service, I'm going to port that number to a cell phone so that I can keep that number forever.
Good idea. Number 7, Morse code. You used to have to learn Morse code to get a ham operator's license. It's not required anymore. You know, I don't know hardly anybody that knows Morse code.
Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
I haven't known it since then. I know SOS. That's about it.
Yeah. How to utilize a slide rule. Nope. Never learned.
Nope, that's pre-us.
Mental math, just the basic stuff. Everybody should know basic mental math. You know, your times table is up through 12. You know, I just think that's something you should know. Writing in cursive. This is the hill I will die on. There is no use for cursive in this world.
You are out of your friggin' mind.
No.
There absolutely is a use for cursive.
Why?
It is a secret code that only the elders understand. The youth cannot decode our messages.
Well, exactly. If you want to write something so that nobody can read it, write it in cursive. Don't be a human and print
stuff in cursive on whiteboards at work in the areas where the interns sit to see how long they stand there and gather and try and figure out what did he write.
You know,
Important.
If cursive was so important, they would print books in it, but they don't. They print books in print.
There's a reason they print books in print.
You know?
Cursive is there to be a faster way to write.
But it's not.
There'd be no reason to print books in cursive.
It's not faster.
I'm saying that was the point.
Yeah.
The point was to make it faster.
It's a wrong point. Next one. Using the card catalog or Dewey Decimal System. No.
Wait. The card catalog, yes. Nobody uses the card catalog. But the Dewey Decimal System is extremely important.
If you still go to the library.
Yes. If you want to go to the library
other
and find
than
actual
to hunt
book.
ghosts.
Yeah. You know. Read, turn pages, and fold the New York Times or any large newspapers with one hand. What? I don't know where that would have ever been handy.
So, he's talking about on the subway without hitting somebody. Well, okay. One, nobody reads the newspaper on the subway. New Jersey's largest newspaper, the Star Ledger, that had the largest distribution in all of New Jersey, announced it is going to cease print operations due to low subscribership. They're going to become an online-only news outlet now.
Yeah, you know how you turn the page? You go like this now. You know? You just it's the way it is. Drafting, as in like 3D drafting for engineering firms. If you're an engineer, you need that skill. I would guess it still translates somewhat to CAD.
No.
Yes. Somewhat. Sometimes you need to be able to get down and just write something on a piece of paper.
Here is
Depending on
one.
how your brain works.
Here is one that I don't remember when the last time it was used was celestial navigation using a sextant.
I think it was in the Goonies.
I mean,
Yeah.
Apollo, 13 maybe Apollo 11.
If you're in the Navy, I'm sure that you still have to be able to do that in case of an EMP knocking out your stuff. I don't know. There's going to be somebody on the ship who knows how to do it. I'm sure.
A type of shorthand called speed writing. Anybody ever heard of
shorthand? Period.
Never heard of speed writing, and it looks like somebody was just splice 16 millimeter film. No, we don't need that anymore. We have this thing called Final Cut. We don't need to splice film anymore. So those are that's that.
I mean, there was a lot in that list that were very esoteric to begin with.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody in the 1950s was like, "Oh, it's time to splice some 16 millimeter film."
Ooh. The follow-up the article which immediately followed this is weird. They asked AI to generate what people from every state looked like.
No, we've covered this one.
Oh, did we? Yeah, but this had pictures.
We briefly covered this. Yeah, well, we briefly went through this to see
All right.
what Illinois and New Jersey look like.
Okay. Because New Jersey looks like...
Well, no, this is different. This is different because I don't recall Illinois being... I would have remembered this picture.
Okay, because who... Okay, so this is New Jersey, but who does New Jersey man look like?
Unabomber.
No, what actor?
Oh, don't you dare! No, now you're just not what. See, that kind of looks like Stanley Tucci and Marissa Tomei.
No, not Stanley Tucci. I was thinking, what's his name from Evan Almighty?
Oh, but from the Office?
Yeah.
Why am
you've
I
lost me.
here?
Yeah.
Who was?
It was Steve Carell.
Do you think that looks like Steve Carell?
Yeah.
A little bit.
That looks like Steve Carell because it is Steve Carell, but
Yeah, but...
Honestly, no. But go.
No, that does not like...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay, well,
It looks
maybe...
more like that guy who was that actor who died, the character actor.
What about... Okay,
he was on Ghost. Not Ghost. Anyway.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Kind of looks like Ben Stiller if Ben Stiller had more of a mustache and beard. But anyway, yeah, and then Illinois was funny. I figured they'd be fatter, to tell you the truth. But nice that they picked young people. They obviously were targeting Chicago, not downstate. So, but anyway, little tangent there. Let's see here. Next up,
Vincent Schiavelli. That's what I was thinking of. I said, you convinced me you look like Vincent Schiavelli.
Ah, okay. Let's see here. I was looking. Mike, did you throw anything into the white sheet for this week?
Did I? I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
Oh, I know what we can talk about though. So, the Fifth Circuit Court put down a ruling basically making it easier for a myriad of services, okay, to make it easier for people to cancel subscription services. Subscription services, other services that you're subscribe, other services that you have. So whether it's telephone, cable, garbage, whatever it is, we all have had these services where you want to cancel. They run you through, like SiriusXM, great example. Okay, SiriusXM, you call them up, you say, hey, I want to cancel. Oh, I can't handle cancellations. I have to transfer you to another person. Then they say, oh, well, are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. Okay, well, then I'll have to transfer you to another person. And 30 minutes later, after they've offered you 6 different offers to stay on, they say, okay, well, now you need to tell us your mother's maiden name, what your social security number is, what car you had first, where your childhood home was. And by the way, you'll need to send us your wedding certificate and triplicate. And then maybe we'll think about letting you out of your contract. We've all had those types of things happen to us. So
Right.
Fifth Circuit Court, recently blocked the FTC's click to cancel rule. Now, the FTC was passing a rule that said companies cannot make it overly cumbersome to cancel services. Exactly what I just explained with SiriusXM. They said that there should be a clean and simple way for you to cancel services and or get out of contracts, even if there is a minimal charge or whatever there is to it. But, the court blocked that rule, or is looking to block that rule out from different industry lobbyists that are asking them to do it. So, we've all suffered with those things, I'm sure. And, it's one of these things where you got the lobbyists on one side that are trying to get these common sense laws knocked down. And then you've got the consumers on the other side that are saying, why does it take an act of Congress to make this happen in the first place? Because money is everything to companies. No matter what company you are, money's everything, right? Nobody wants to give it up. Nobody wants to get rid of you as a subscriber. So,
legally enforced. Legally enforced, all they care about is money.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just, Interactive Advertising Bureau argued at the same time that the rule would restrict innovation without any corresponding benefit. So the argument is, well, if you make it easy for people to cancel, how will we ever innovate?
So I see both sides to this. The first one being, it should be easier to cancel. I'm not going to say just go to a website, log in, and click. Now, some services are like that. If you turn off auto renewal, essentially, you have to manually pay every month in order to keep your subscription active. That, to me, is a similar concept that not all services offer.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent example of this that I can deal with, that a lot of people probably have at some point in their life, is a gym membership. For the longest time, in the contracts, it said, oh, well, if you move, because that was always the thing, oh, well, I'm moving, so I need to cancel my contract. Then the chain gyms started, and it said, well, where are you moving to? Oh, well, there's a club there, so we'll transfer your membership there.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're still within 25 miles of this club, so we can't cancel your membership. There were stupid clauses like that. So some of these, I think you should. Now, should these companies be given an opportunity to retain you? Perhaps. With the SiriusXM one, that's an interesting example, because a lot of times if you go to cancel, you would tell them, oh, well, it just got to be too expensive. Well, what if I was able to give you a promo for this much a month?
$25 for the next 6 months, Yeah.
Right. So they'll give you, just to keep you as a subscriber. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But they make it, you have to go through hoops to get them to offer that.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it as going both ways here. Like, if companies got to make money, but they have to be smart about their pricing. Don't gouge the consumers. But the click to cancel, oh, well, let's just put this in context of a cable company. And let's say they have a carriage disagreement with, or any provider, any television provider, streaming or otherwise, and they have a dispute with your local Fox affiliate. And they say, well, we're dropping the channels. You know what would happen if you had this click to cancel? Everyone would click that, like in football season, everybody would click and they would cancel. Oh, I have no use for you. Done. And there's no recourse there.
Right.
So I kind of see both sides of it. There's got to be limits.
But the argument of, well, if we make it easy, then
the innovation part,
we don't have to innovate. Doesn't having that, the users can voice their displeasure so easily, doesn't that actually show that the companies should be able to reflect, the wants and desires of their consumers better? Yeah. And in your case, say that the Fox affiliate wasn't there. If I'm the executive and I suddenly see a spike in cable drops, and that's voiced as a reason, well, then I'm going to work my ass off to get Fox back on the air so that doesn't continue. And as the Fox company, it says, hey, my programming is worth it. So, I mean, there's a give and take here. I completely understand your point. Companies should be able to retain their customers, but bad company doesn't get that option either. A bad company shouldn't be able to hold their customers hostage. Now, what I also said was they should be able to place restrictions on that, like say, hey, listen, and like for your example of the cable company, right? You can say, well, listen, you were in a 1-year contract and, we dropped Fox, but you still got 9 months left on your contract. So there's a $500 exit fee, right? For your early contract, dropout. So it's not like the company's left holding the entire bag for the whole subscription model, right? There's at least some recourse for the company for people to pull this trigger and leave. So, I'm not saying that the company is held harmless, but, they can't make it overly burdensome.
So the other thing to think about here, go ahead, Colin.
I was going to say, so I think cable is a terrible example because if I want to turn off YouTube TV and switch over to Hulu Live TV, that's a couple mouse clicks. I don't have to talk to anybody for that. I just do it. I don't see cable television is something that needs to be that burdensome. It isn't like they haven't already installed the cable lines to all the houses anyway. Now, where I do see issues are things like cable internet, or internet, or whatever your internet feed is, cell phones, possibly your email provider, things that aren't just I want to cancel this, but it's also things that are important to your personal security. If someone can break in and turn off your cell phone very easily with a couple of mouse clicks, then they can take over your phone number and then break into your bank account because now they get all of your texts because you've now taken over that phone number. So when we're talking things that are security related, those are the things where I'm like, yes, something needs to be there.
Well, and I'm not saying they don't need to validate identity before they do these turnoffs and things like that. I'm just saying that the runaround is the issue.
The runaround should not be
runaround that they're making it difficult. So I think in general we agree that there needs to be something put in place, but we know that there also needs to be restrictions on there. We have to watch out for the corporations as well as the consumers. There has to be a happy medium. And there should be. Not everything can be run by the almighty dollar, but our economy also wouldn't work if not for it. So, I do have a Roth IRA to watch out for. So, go economy. So
Well, see now here's the other thing. Semi-related is I think somehow like the stock market. I'm tired of hearing we're doing this to create value for the investors. No.
Right.
Do this to make your product better so that it becomes the best available and people want it.
yeah,
Not pleasing the people who are rich enough to afford to buy shares in your company.
yeah, there should be a responsibility.
I feel like there's the guiding light, the guiding star for a lot of these corporations is gone.
Yeah, they're. I want to think.
This is me sounding like an old man again. But
I know we are putting the "get off my lawn" hat on, but
Yes,
I gotta believe that there was a time in which, to own a company and to have a business, you were doing it with not just the fact of I want to make money, but also in the fact of I want to provide a valuable service that people appreciate, enjoy, and are proud of me delivering. As a business owner, that's what I always looked at. Hey, I want to be proud to provide this. I want people to have a good opinion of me as a person, and me as a company. And when those things start to fail, I need to get out of the business. That I don't think because businesses are run by boards now and not people, the personal accountability for the business and its perception, I don't think is there. I don't think that because the business is all these shareholders now, it's not one person. And I'm not saying that it's a great thing to have one person in charge of a business, but at least when you had one person in charge of a business, that person was the face of the business. They were the morality of the business. They were the soul of the business. And so when the business did bad by people, you had one person to blame, and that person should, if they're a decent human being, take it on themselves, and they should feel bad because of it. I always did. My wife always told me I was the worst person on myself when something wasn't going right with my business. I was the hardest on myself. I was 100 times harder than any customer ever was on me when something was failing. And that's what eventually got me out of it, because I couldn't take the continued pressure of little things that just continued to pile up. I wish more companies had that opinion.
But they can't.
I know. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. I know that you're saying that they're not there to care. They're there to make money. I get it.
No,
I'm just saying.
It's
I
more than
wish it
that.
wasn't
It's
that.
like if they decide that it's more important to do a better job of to care instead of making money, they go to jail. It's literally against the law for a publicly traded corporation to not put the shareholders first, making them money.
I know, but consideration should never be against the law.
But it is.
I know. I'm just saying, as my opinion.
No. See, there's a fine line there. Let's see, now you're introducing. Now we're crossing over into other topics. Because as soon as you said that, I'm like, well, wait a second. Pharmaceutical companies made record profits, and they claim it's to make all of their research money back. And I know that they pour money into other research. Oil companies, record profits. So yes, your job is to make your shareholders money. Doesn't say how much.
Yeah, at some point, there's so much money you can't spend it. Your grandchildren can't spend it.
There.
Okay.
There absolutely is, and that's where regulation steps in. See, we're skewing at that point into politics.
Yes. So let's get into something that is not political whatsoever. Let's get into Hallmark. Now, I know that we all love Hallmark. It's our favorite channel. We watch it all the time. But Hallmark is in the middle of a hullabaloo. And boy, I did not get the reaction that I thought from my wife when I talked to her about the subject. because I said, "Oh, your Hallmark Channel's in trouble." I said, "Can you?"
And let me guess, she said, "No, it's not."
She
This is
said,
the best thing ever.
She actually said, "I agree with whoever said that." And Hallmark executive says leading ladies like Lacey Chabert, Holly Robinson Pete, and others are aging out. Telling their 79-year-old casting director who filed the lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court that because of the leading lady's age, Hallmark needs to start looking for younger actresses because their leading ladies today are aging out of their target demographics and no one wants to see grandmas in love stories.
Well, that's cute that they think their target demographic is actually still 18 to 35.
Yes. And so
Hallmark ain't on TikTok, so these kids ain't going to be watching.
I you know what? It's weird because I told my wife this and she's like, "Well, he's not wrong." And she's like, "They are getting older and they're not right for the role anymore." And I'm like, wow.
Okay, so they may not be the leading love interest anymore. However, they could transition to the mom.
They could transition to this is their second chance at love. You know?
Yes. See,
because how many 40-somethings are now on their second marriage? Didn't work out with the first one. They could actually have a whole nother channel called Hallmark Take Two, where they get all their original shows. Those characters have gone through a divorce, and now they've got a whole new story about meeting another man.
MTV tried this with MTV2. And that's what eventually led us to Jersey Shore. So think about this before we go.
Well, I would love to see what happens when one of the the common women gets a divorce from a prince who would be king. And then suddenly she's looking for a new man. I mean, we may see that play out in real life, but still, it would be nice to see it on Hallmark.
I mean, maybe what we need, I don't know. Like some of these actresses, yes, they are they're kind of aging from the leading role. I get that part, but at the same time, where's that line? Like, what is the demographic they're trying to hit with Hallmark?
I mean, Lacey Chabert is 42.
Oh,
I know, she's so old,
and I don't feel well. 42 and she's aging out.
Yeah.
This is worse than when I just found out Wilford Brimley was 50 when he shot Cocoon. He was younger than me, for frick's sake.
Danica McKellar is 49.
Winnie Cooper.
Yes, Winnie Cooper. Let's see here. Candace Cameron Bure. You probably know this one.
No, I don't, and I don't care because she's a God Squad person.
She's 48. Catherine
She's
Bell.
Got that deer in headlights look, like Jesus is coming for her or something.
Catherine Bell, 56. She definitely could play a grandma on a show.
Who's Catherine Bell?
She was the Good Witch, and she was also in Jag.
Okay, that's where I know her from. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to see who else is typical on here.
Oh, Robinson Pete. How old is she?
Hold on. I'm going to look Allison Sweeney up because she's been in a lot of them. She's 48. Who'd you say?
Holly Robinson Pete.
Holly Robinson Pete is 60.
Gotta be careful what I say here because she is the only black actress we have talked about on that list. And yet she's the oldest, and I would not have guessed that.
I hate to tell you this, but Hallmark doesn't have a whole lot of black actresses. That's a completely different lawsuit that they should be under.
Yes. Yes, really.
I'm looking at their lineup. She's the only one out of 20 out of 31 actresses on this lineup, she is the only African American actress.
Isn't Christina Milian a Hallmark actress now?
She's not on this list from IMDb.
Okay.
Christina Milian. The one from Bring It On, you mean? Yeah. Fight or Finish? Well, she's 43. Yeah, I don't know that she's been in a whole lot.
Right.
But yep.
My opener just failed me. Oh well.
Aw, she made the Call Me Beat Me song for Kim Possible. I didn't know that. So yeah. All right.
Well, okay, so wait a minute. Didn't some of them jump from
Yeah.
Hallmark to some other? I thought, what's her name jumped?
Candace
The
Cameron Bure
Bible.
jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why is she even mentioned here?
Well, I was just bringing her up on. So Danica McKellar left, Jenny Lilly left, Jessica Lowndes left, Cameron Matheson, and Trevor Donovan, as well as obviously Candace Cameron Bure. And there's and Lori Loughlin left obviously as well. Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, Lori Loughlin.
Well, she was booted first.
Yes.
Oh, as well as Cameron Matheson, Debbie Metanopoulos. Yeah, boy, they got a lot of folks that are going over there.
All right, look, it's...
Oh, Mario Lopez.
Oh, Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It is time. Let's...
All right. We are going to talk about the movie tonight that we had to review. Located on Amazon Prime. It was called Role Play, starring Kaylee Kuko, otherwise known as Penny from The Big Bang Theory. And who is on tap for the detailed discussion tonight?
Probably that's me.
Colin. All right, Colin, kick us off. Tell us all about Role Play.
Okay, Role Play.
The movie, not what you do on a Saturday night. Movie.
The movie Role Play, which is... so, this is an interesting movie to review because the best parts of the movie are actually at the beginning. And then the rest of it's just kind of a bit rote finishing it up. So... You have a couple who the wife of the pair turns out is actually an assassin. She's trying to get out of the business, but to help fund people to try to keep her privacy, she still kills a couple people on the side without her husband knowing about it. And well, because of this, we have one of the rarest things that you will ever see in a movie. A wife forgetting the date of her anniversary. Yeah. Hallelujah, it actually happened. Someone managed to pull it off. So, there you go. You can put this movie on that very short list of that particular thing. So... Because of that, she feels bad and decides to come up with the idea of having a little role play session with her husband, which they go to a hotel and pretend that they're other people and give fake names. And then things happen. As I said, this is actually probably the best part of the movie, and so I'm going to treat it more like the end of the movie where we really go over it too much. That's what I'm going to do here. I'll just say this is a fun, relatively tightly scripted little piece of what happens there. But after that, the result of it is that the bad people now know where she is. And the husband finds out that she's really an assassin. She runs off to Germany to try. Well, it turns out to try to get passports for her kids and her husband, so they can all disappear together. But then they end up being captured by the bad people. Now, the bad people here is actually just a group of assassins that was originally started by Kelly Kuko's character's father, and but she was just kind of there's a lot of emotional torture and stuff going on here, where basically this very crazy woman thinks that she owns her and that she ran away from her, and it's very uncomfortable. And in the end, things are better. You know, the family gets back together. One of the points I'll say on this movie is that the ending is a huge cop-out on the writer's part. They had all these things that were set up that could be problems of trying to get their life back together again. And instead of trying to come up with a solution to end the movie with, oh, here's how we're going to fix things, they just punt it and say, I have a plan. And that's it. So imagine for yourself how they're going to get out of this situation that they're in, because they apparently can't be bothered to come up with it themselves. So, I'm a little short on details just because I like the core piece of it so much. I think you should watch this movie, and you should enjoy the bit in the hotel because that is it's fun. Here's
Rating?
the two. I'm just going to have one more thing I'm going to say about this movie, and this is the reason why I'm not going to give it to Schneikes. They could have said, "Hey, she was actually killing bad people," because one of the characters said that she was killing like a union organizer. You know, so they left her off with being like she was going out and killing real, you know, she was killing, let's say, good people, but she wasn't going out just like killing villains on her her little spree. She was just killing whoever she was getting a contract for, and that leaves it, you know, a bit unsatisfying that she gets out of this without any harm to herself. You know, she's there, she's with her family, everything's good, and you're like, yeah, but she's been killing people. Aren't you going to do anything about that? And all they had to do was some line of that, oh, that was a lie. It wasn't a union organizer. It was a drug dealer, or, you know, something else to say, you know, yes, she's still been killing people since she got away from the assassins, but they're people that you as the audience are like, good, they need to be dead anyway. And then you feel so much better about it. So because of that, I'm going to give this an SEG. I think I really like this movie enough to do that. But I think they made some scripting mistakes to keep it from getting a full Schneikes.
All right, Mike, you want to go next or you want me to?
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
So, let me start by saying that I loves me some Kaylee Cuoco. When this came up as a pick, I was quite happy about it. Starting to get this vibe that this is game night, but where one of the folks actually is an assassin. During the costume changes, I am digging Kaylee as a redhead. I am not going to lie. And of course, hubby gets stuck in traffic. See, now here's where it gets kludgy, right? She's a professional. But she didn't call in a cleaner crew right after shooting the old dude? I mean, well, I guess there'd be no movie if she did that. Now, I have to admit that I am loving the fact that he's learning all of this from the authorities, not his wife. Interesting little twist that you normally don't see in this type of movie. Fun fact, when he called the plumber's number, plumber had a 908 area code. That means he either is or was from New Jersey. Also, fun fact, I have no idea where Mr. Shathade was during this filming. I don't know how to do anything else. Then take a class. I love that line. this doesn't make sense. Kill the husband, but not the kids, because the kids aren't going to be the ones with more questions if daddy goes missing. No, of course not, because you gave them pancakes, a puppy, and an Xbox. So the kids are just going to forget about daddy. Like, oh, daddy who? I was just grown, hatched from an egg or something. David is a natural. First time without thinking, and he gets the guy right in the jugular with the phenomenal. Look, I'm giving this a smirk. Okay? It was okay. Wasn't anything great. There were some plot holes, as I pointed out. However, why didn't he get a smile? Why didn't he get an SEG? Because I didn't get to see Kaylee Cuoco in the nurse's outfit. Shaggy?
All right. So this is well, at this point, I got 4 other movies that this is like. All right. So does that make it a common trope? I don't know. This is like... So if you like these other movies, you'll like this movie. Ghosted, all right, which we've watched. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, kind of. The Family Plan, we watched. And True Lies. Now, to Mike's point, had this been just like True Lies, and we'd have seen Kelly Cuoco dressed up in the little black dress, and maybe doing what?
Actually, no. If we had seen her like Mr. and Mrs. Smith when Angelina assassinated the guy, and then Spider-Man down with the trench coat, that's the other option.
Yeah, but if she'd have done the Jamie Lee Curtis dance on the 4-poster bed, you'd have been happy, right, Mike?
I don't think I'm legally allowed to say.
I don't think there would not have been any doubt in my mind what this rating would have been. All right. But, as it stands now, this was a pretty entertaining movie. Now, I will say, there were a couple things that I wasn't quite anticipating that I saw in this movie that I appreciated. All right. And, really the only thing that I have to say is, along with Colin, I think maybe the last 10 minutes I could have done with a little bit more work into it, but I think maybe they left it open for a sequel because, just some of the things that happened towards the end, I think they left it a little bit open. So maybe we see a sequel, and maybe we see a role play 2, like new costumes or something like that. I don't know. But I'm all about it, and I also was very approving of Kelly Cuoco in this role. So I am going to give this an SHG or SEG, because this is a very good show that I had a few laughs with. I enjoyed watching. I probably will watch it again, and like I said, it was good to see her in a non-traditional role for her because I haven't seen her in too many things other than The Big Bang Theory, and it was nice to see her in a semi-action role.
Did either of you watch The Flight Attendant?
No, I did not.
Okay. That's a little bit of a different role for her as well. That's kind of like a jumping point to this role.
Yeah.
So that's one that you might enjoy, and for reasons other than her action in stuff. So, Shaggy, you are on deck for the next one, and it's 1 to 35.
All right. And I know there's some good ones in there, so I will go ahead and let the generator spin. 31.
31. No. Please don't be available. Please don't be available. Thank Jesus it's not available.
Dang it. What was it?
On Amazon Prime. The two Coreys in a Police Academy style movie.
Darn it. I knew
Busted.
That was leaving soon.
Praise be to Jesus.
33.
Oh, God.
Maybe you'll wish for the two Coreys.
Also unavailable.
Damn it.
Act naturally. When two estranged you are picking all these movies. When two estranged stepsisters inherit their father's nudist colony, that's about all I need to read. I know who put it on there.
All right, 20.
20. Okay, we're moving to a different service now. This one, this is one that I think you're going to want to watch with the wife.
Okay.
Happiness for Beginners. I may even get Mrs. 8-Man to be involved with this one.
Okay. At a crossroads after her divorce, a school teacher ventures towards a fresh start in life and love after she signs up for a grueling group hiking trip on Netflix. Okay.
Because this is like Netflix's foray into a Hallmark style movie with the dude from Yellowstone and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yes. All right. Well, that looks pretty good. And then it's also got Ben Cook, who is from something. But yeah. All right. Well, that is going to be on our next show. So I will get that watched.
It'll be on the 18th, I believe, unless we have something that's going on. I don't know.
I don't think so. Nope. So we will have that to look forward to for everybody. And that means we have come to the end of our program for this evening, folks. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And don't forget, we depend on you to help spread the word of the show. So if you have friends out there who haven't heard about the show, if you're in a work meeting and you're a little early and people have shown up, just say, hey, listen, have you heard of PTR Radio? Don't go there on a work machine, but hey, maybe tune in.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I said them, not us.
Don't do that at work. Maybe do it. No, don't do it. No, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay, fine. If you're at the bar with friends and they said, hey, what are you doing Monday night? And you say, I'm too busy. And they ask why, then say, I'm listening to PTR Radio.
Don't do that either. Just take note cards and just write ptrradio.com on them and tear them in half. This way you get maximized. And just randomly leave them places.
Yes.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, leave them with your tip. Servers will love that.
But make sure you write in cursive.
But then print underneath it so they can actually read it.
Like print and sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't sign the credit card receipt itself that way because we're not paying.
Oh no. Yeah.
No.
No. Don't sign our name. You could use
PTR
us
Radio,
as a.
We have bad credit.
Yeah.
That's that.
But
We got no credit. No credit at all. Don't forget, folks, if you are eligible, get out to vote tomorrow. We don't care who for. Do what you're going to do, but just get out and do your civic duty and vote. Or if you voted before, great, thank you. Like Mike did. Mike voted before.
Yes, I voted.
I voted before.
I voted early, and I was asked for ID, and apparently that was illegal
Yeah.
for them to ask me for my ID. But I ain't complaining.
No, Mike is not a boat rocker. So, all right,
Not
folks.
when it comes to topics like this.
No. Otherwise,
On the air.
we'll see you on the 18th. That's right, the 18th at 6 p.m. Central. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate it. And don't forget to check us out all the social media channels at ptrradio.com on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all those other fun stuff. And again, check out ptrradio.com for all the information about the show. Other than that, that is all that I have to say. Mike, Colin, anything for you guys?
Nope.
No.
All right, folks. I'm
Nope.
Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the 8-Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.